our kid is complaining that she gets the rock right onto Fast Pass. Wow, this is actually a really nice magic moment here. I think it's because everybody's taking the time to eat right now. And all the other people are over at Pandora, waiting in line for Flight of Passage and Navi River Journey. Or Expedition Everest, I'm betting.
They're not doing the water ride, the raft ride.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't go on that one?
They drained the water from there.
Really? They did? That's kind of cool, actually. We should check that out.
I don't even know where it's located.
I don't either.
I remember riding that ride.
How is this 15 minutes? I don't know, but I'm just happy that we got to go, which is really cool. So let's not make a big fuss over it. Let's just get going. Because I know on the annual pass holder group, everybody says, how do you get to go in through the Fast Pass lane when you're not Fast Pass? Well, DAS. Also, if you have one of those paid group things, that's also how you get to go. See? That is going to be what it'll be like. So let's get going. Oh, it smells good. It's weird, all the way up until now, it was actually open. But now, they have the little plastic barrier. And remember, don't touch it.
Eating and drinking are not permitted while in line. Face coverings must fully cover your nose and mouth and be worn at all times while in line and on the attraction.
Well, there's that little thing about the line. Do not throw or drop anything from your vehicle. That's always good advice. Plastic, no plastic. And sanitizer. Let's get going. This could make anyone feel claustrophobic. What if I...
This is so tiny.
Hi, Lil. What if I was...
My arms up in here.
What if I was actually bigger? This would really suck. And then look ahead. There's the opening at the very end. All right, let's get on.
Bienvenidos a Kilimanjaro Safari. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados, mantengan las manos, brazos, pies, piernas.
Oh my gosh, and I thought it was claustrophobic earlier. If you take a look at the girls, you can see the plastic
The door's closed on your right.
on both sides. So I'm gonna sit over here on this side. That way I get a nice view.
We're just gonna wait 1 second for our water.
It is really creative how they actually kept it from going anywhere.
Thank you, Warden. Here in Harambe, we say twin day. That does mean let's go. Jamba friends, my name is Georgia. I'll be your safari truck driver today. If you take a look above you, that's going to be your animal spotting guide. That may or may not be of some help, but hopefully we'll have some pretty good luck. Now we do ask that you remain seated, keeping those hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the truck at all times. We also ask that you keep those face coverings on, covering those mouths and noses. That's for the safety of you, those around you, and those who get into the truck after you. But with all that being said, we're going to head into the Little Ituri Forest. Now, the Little Ituri Forest is almost a very shy creature, so make sure you keep your eyes on the bushes. That's usually where you'll find them. Now, they do camouflage pretty well, so it might be a little bit harder to see. Already on our right side is an okapi. Now, an okapi looks like it kind of has some zebra pants on, but it does not. That okapi looks like it could be related to the zebra, but it's not at all. It's more closely related to the giraffe. And we know this because of its skull structure and really long tongue. Now, that okapi was not found until 1901, and that just shows you that we can find new species almost at any time. On our left side coming up are some bongos. Now these bongos are known to be the ghosts of the forest, very rarely seen. They're the orangey animals here with the stripes. Now bongos, male and female, do have those horns, so it's a little bit harder to tell them apart. And then coming up on a hill here on our right side is a bird. You can kind of see the white wings and the orange feathers, or the orange beak. Bird is a saddle-billed stork. Saddle-billed stork can stand to be about 5 foot tall with a wingspan of nearly 9 feet. It's about as long as the tarp above us. Taking a look on our left-hand side is a black rhino. Now the black rhino is the smallest of the rhino species here in the reserve, weighing only about 3,000 pounds. There's only about 5,000 left on this planet, and that's just due to poaching. Poaching is the hunting for those horns. Some cultures believe that their horns have a majestic value, but really they're just like our fingernails and our hair. They're made out of keratin, so not very special at all. Taking a look at our right-hand side, there's some greater kudus. Now all of these greater kudus are females, we can tell because they don't have any horns. Males do have very large horns that grow to be almost 6 foot long and length. Now as you can see, those greater kudus and the bongos, we'll see some more bongos here on our left-hand side, have stripes on them that kind of reflect in the moonlight. And they do that, they camouflage really well, kind of looking like a bush. We're going to head into the Safi River. Now the Safi River is home to some aquatic animals. It is an aquatic area. Make sure you keep your eyes on the water. That's usually where you'll find them. Now the Safi River is home to some like the Nile crocodile, maybe even a Nile hippo. So let's see what we can find. Now Nile hippos are a little bit harder to find. That's because when they're under the water they look like rocks, but fortunately he's outside the water on our right side. Now Nile hippos can actually hold their breath for almost 8 minutes and then they'll come up and grab more air. They can even sleep under the water. If you take a look on our left-hand side, you'll see some more of those Nile hippos. Now they don't actually swim, they kind of sink to the bottom of the water and walk along the bottom of the water. And a group of Nile hippos would be known as a blue. So there we have a blue. But we also have a pod, which is a group of pink-backed pelicans. Now pink-backed pelicans are known for colonial nesting. Those are large white birds on the island. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the color that their backs change during mating season, which is a pinkish color. And they're known for colonial nesting, meaning that they nest in large groups, while the male and female do take care of that nest. Well, we're going to continue on. We saw a pod and a float, but let's see what else we can find here in Africa. Looks like we're going to go over a small bridge, but taking a look at our bottom left-hand side, there's some Nile crocodiles. Now, a couple of those Nile crocodiles look like they're smiling at us, but they're not. They're just regulating their body temperatures. They can grow to be almost 16 foot long in length, and their jaws are so strong that they can break things like bones. Now, since they can break things like bones, we're going to head into a whole new ecosystem. Try and get out of here. We're going to head into the Savannah. Now, the Savannahs is home to some like the Ankoli cattle, giraffes, maybe even some zebras. But here in the Savannah, these animals, they do not camouflage very well. So that means they depend on speed. They must be able to run in order to get away from those predators. But before we head down to the Savannahs, on our right side is a baobab tree. Baobab trees are leafless about 9 months out of the year. They do hold lots of water inside their trunk, so that animals like the elephants or other horned animals will actually drink the water out of it during the drought season. So that makes the baobab tree also known as the tree of life. Coming down into Savannahs, if you take a look on our left-hand side, you do see the overlook of all the Savannahs. Gives us a sneak peek of what's to come. Ooh, look, there's some zebras right over there. Now we can tell that those are mountain zebras because If you look really closely, you're able to see an extra lap of skin. And also they have smaller hooves than the other zebra species. That way they can walk in between the rocks and up and down the mountains. Now zebras do imprint on one another, so they can tell each other apart fairly easily. Now some people may ask, are zebras black with white stripes or white with black stripes? They are black with white stripes. We know this because they have black hooves, black mouths, and even a black tongue. Now if you look out in the distance, you can see all of our landscaping is done pretty well. It's actually done by all the animals. The giraffes will trim the trees for us, keeping the trees all about the same height. The antelope and hoofed animals will mow the grass. And then the elephants will knock down basically anything in their pathways. So that's where you get the knockdown trees from. If you look inside that den, there are some African wild dogs, also known as African painted dogs. Very family-oriented animals. So if one gets hurt, they will not leave that one behind. They will stay back to protect each other. They're going to be right inside the den. Now they can also imprint on one another, so they can tell each other apart fairly easily. But if you look on our right side, there's two animals. Those are, the tan animals are Patterson elands. Patterson elands are the largest antelopes here in the reserve, standing almost 6 foot tall at the shoulder. Now those are both female. The female are not as big as the male. The males do get much bigger. But looking on our left side are some sable antelope. Sable antelope with a Harambe Wildlife Reserve emblem. Very fierce animals. During a fight or flight situation, they choose to fight. The sable antelopes have been known to win against fights even with lions. And then interesting enough, the females do dominate, so the highest ranking male is still lower than the lowest ranking female. So go females. Now we do have some termite mounds around here. Those termite mounds are made out of dirt and saliva. And they're used by many different animals, but some specifically, like the small springbok, will use them to hide in between, hiding from predators. Larger animals like the elephants or the giraffes will actually use them to scratch with, so like scratching posts. So that just means that they are hard. Hard is almost concrete. Zebra out on our right side, and if you look out on our right side on the top of that hill, there's also some white-bearded wildebeest. Those wildebeest are the largest herding animals, so actually herded about 1.5 million. So when born, the wildebeest must be able to run within an hour, or else they do have the potential to get left behind. Now they get their name from that Procon name Wildebeest, and then also they have a white beard. But taking a look on our right hand side, some giraffes are coming up. Now these giraffes live born are already about 6 foot tall, and they can grow to be anywhere from 18 to 20 feet tall. They do spend most of their days eating, only about 30 minutes resting. Since they eat so much, they do have a purplish blue tongue, and that's just to protect it from the sun. You can also see some cattle in there with those large horns. Those are Ankole cattle. And cattle's horns look like they could be really heavy, but they're actually not. They're made out of a honeycomb-like structure which pumps blood vessels through in order to keep them cool. Now giraffes do have the highest blood pressure of all the animals, at about 300 over 200. That way they can pump blood all the way to the tip-top of their head. And then they even have the same amount of vertebrae bones as us humans, just their vertebrae bones are much larger. Oh, look here on our left. Oh, that's a perfect picture, first and second row. I took one from behind, that's awesome. Alright, we're going to keep on going. We're going to head towards elephant country. Hopefully that means we'll see elephants. I do already see an elephant out on our right side. Side, that is a male elephant. Male elephants do tend to stay by themselves or create groups called a bachelor, which is a group of male elephants together. Now you can kind of see the dirt or hay thrown on his back. He's just done that to cool himself down. They'll also flop those ears back and forth to cool themselves down as well. Now, male elephants do tend to go off in those bachelor groups, but they will not do that until age 15. Before age 15, they are with their mom. On a different hand, the female elephants are with their mom throughout their entire lifetimes. Looking over her back right shoulder, we'll be able to get a really good view of that elephant. Now, if you look at his ears really closely, you can kind of see they're kind of shaped like Africa. That's how we can tell that it's an African elephant, but of course we're still in Africa, so we wouldn't have any other kind of elephants. Yeah. We're going to head over a small bridge going towards some red clay. Now, the red clay pits are actually used by the elephants. Elephants tend to eat large amounts of red clay, and it's because it works as a source of vitamins and mineral equivalents. So, just like we take our vitamins daily, the elephants do the same thing by eating red clay. You can kind of see some tusk marks there on our right side. They do look pretty fresh, so we're going to keep a lookout on the left side. That's where they like to hang out. I do already see some out in the distance. Hopefully we'll get a little bit closer. Left-hand side, you'll see some of those elephants. Kind of hiding behind the bush there. But we've learned through the Disney Conservation Fund that these elephants are afraid of bees. So we actually put this to work building beehive fences. With these beehive fences, we're able to protect the farmer's farmland, ooh, look at them, and create another source of income with honey. So when the elephants walk up, they hear the bees buzzing. They'll actually turn around and walk away. Now, why are the elephants afraid of bees, you ask? This is because their ears are really sensitive. So when they hear the bees buzzing, it kind of irritates them and also scares them. Looks like there's a giraffe there on our right side. Thank you. Alright, I saw the baby here, but I don't know how to say it if it's not there. It's going to be right over our left shoulder, kind of behind the corner there. A little bit harder to see. Like I said, it's right behind the first elephant that you see. Now, it's not quite a baby. I say baby, it's a toddler. It's more about 3 or 4 years old. But once we go around the flamingos, we'll be able to get a little bit better view. Now, these are the greater flamingos, the tallest of all the flamingo species. You can kind of see a couple of them there, kind of gray and white. They haven't quite turned that pink color yet. They will not turn pink until about 18 months old. And they'll turn that pink color from the shrimp that they eat, which contains beta-carotene. And a group of flamingos would be known as a flamboyance. See if we can see that baby. Oh, she's way out in the distance there. A little bit harder to see. We're going to head to the east side of the Savannah. There's an ostrich going to be up here on our right side. Ostriches are the largest birds, but they can't actually fly. But they can run almost 30 to 40 miles per hour. You also see a mud hole out there. Now that mud hole is made by, used by many different animals. Not like the white rhinos, we use it to roll around in. They'll maybe even use it as a type of sunscreen or bug repellent. And even to cool themselves down. look on our left-hand side, there's 2 cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest running land animals. They do have non-retractable claws, meaning that their claws are always out. That way they can grist their ground and run really fast. I see some people kind of scrambling to find them. There's 2 of them laying right in front of that tree, right at the edge of that tree right there. I say tree, it's like a knockdown log. Now, just because those cheetahs can run so fast does not mean they catch their prey very well. They have low stamina, so these cheetahs get tired in almost 60 seconds. But they can run up to 60 miles per hour. There's going to be 2 cheetahs laying right here, right behind the bushes there. Might be a little bit easier to see this time.
I can't see it.
Did you see it?
No.
Alright, we're going to head into the Kopi Rocks. Now, the Kopi Rocks is used by many different animals. Some like to sit on them looking out for predators, maybe even prey. So, once the truck in front of us starts moving, we'll be able to get on move on to. Now, the Swahili word poli poli, that does mean slow, so we're going to go poli poli around the rocks. Maybe keep a lookout for any other animals. Kind of harder for you guys to see with the sun shining right in your face. Quite seeing anything on the left hand side, but if you take a look on our right hand side, there are 2 ostriches, a bontebok, a white rhino, and some scimitar horned oryx. Now those ostriches, we already talked about them, large birds, they cannot fly though. And then those white rhinos are the largest of the rhino species, weighing about 5,000 pounds. They're much larger than the other rhinos that we saw earlier, the black rhinos. Ooh, looks like we have a lion here on our left-hand side. Lions are nocturnal animals, so they spend most of their days sleeping or resting. Now we can tell that that is a male lion because of his mane. His mane can weigh up to 40 pounds by itself. And the female lions will actually do all the hunting, while the male lions stay back and protect the pride. Female lions will do all their hunting at night, and this is because their night vision is 6 times better than a human's. There's a warthog there on our left-hand side. Warthogs are the largest burrowing animals. They actually dig those burrows and then go in backwards, using their tusks to protect themselves. Looks like here on our right side there are some scimitar horned oryx, the white animals. Scimitar horned oryx can go almost 9 months without drinking water. Their bodies will not break a sweat until about 115 degrees. You can also see a white rhino there. And then that bontebok. Now that bontebok was almost extinct in the 20th century. There was only about 17 left of his kind, so one farmer decided to gather them all up. They began to breed. Now there's about 3,000 bonteboks left on different reserves, just like this one. And that just shows you how one person can make a difference, just like you. But if you're back there thinking to yourself, Georgia, how can I make a difference? Well, remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle. When you reduce, reuse, and recycle, you're protecting these animals for centuries to come. So you're walking around today, you finish your bottle of water, don't throw it in the trash can, toss it in the recycling bin. Disney has many recycling bins throughout their parks and their resorts. If you have other material you're not sure if you can recycle or not, feel free to ask any of our Disney cast members. We'd be more than happy to help you learn about the recycling and its process. Now if you want to do more than reducing, reusing, and recycling, you want to do even more, you can also donate to the Disney Conservation Fund. You can donate at any of the merchandise locations. Disney does match that $4, so it's kind of like donating double.
Look at the wild animal as she checks her hair.
If you want to see some more animals, you can head over to Gorilla Falls Walking Trail. It's about a 10-15 minute walk through. You can see some gorillas, zebras, maybe even some naked mole rats, meerkats, African bullfrogs. And the Gorilla Falls Walking Trail is going to be right as you exit the safari. You'll go up a hill. It's going to be on your right side. But if you head left, you'll head back towards the village where your stroller parking was, if anybody had a stroller. Now, if you have any questions, remember my name is Georgia. Yes, I'm from Georgia, and I was your safari truck driver today. Now here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye. It's far too sad and far too final. And so what we say is Kwaherini. Kwaherini does mean go well. So Kwaherini friends, go well, go wild. Remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle.